Hello, everyone. And we're going to talk about a major partnership with Hedera and Visa. Well, it's not really a partnership between Hedera and Visa per se, but it's a partnership between Visa and SKUX. So what is SKUX or SKUX if you want to call it? Well, it is a fintech payment processing firm, and they will allow instant digital payment with Visa. Visa, obviously, the biggest credit card issuer in the world. What does this have to do with Hedera? Well, SKUX is completely built on Hedera. So we'll be using the Hedera blockchain. That means it will be burning Hbar in the process, which will give Hbar more transactions. I do not think it will actually be using Hbar as the currency, probably still using dollars, euros, or whatever. But remember, every transaction in Hbar does actually burn a tiny bit of Hbar, which is consistent no matter what the price of Hbar is. So this will be extremely interesting to see what happens. Now, once again, I don't think this will have too much immediate impact on price outside of maybe FOMO, although I really haven't seen the FOMO for this yet. But it is another partnership that's adding bit by bit to Hedera's transaction numbers. Of course, Hedera already has like over 1,000 TPS pretty much consistently, and it hasn't affected price. So it will be a long time before this affects price, if ever at all. But I've been saying this about that already. Visa processes roughly, on average, about 2,000 TPS, just basically across the board every day, and about 20,000 TPS at peak times. So you might be thinking, you know, we're going to double or triple our TPS, but that's not true because not all Visa transactions are actually going to be run through SKUX, which means they're not all going to be run through Hedera. Remember, this is mainly for B2B transactions, and a small portion of those B2B transactions that use SKUX. Most of Visa's transactions are retail consumer transactions, which will not be going through this. So you definitely will get some TPS increase on Hedera, but probably not a significant amount compared to what they have right now. But each little bit builds up, and maybe if they burn enough Hedera in however many years, this will start to actually start to really help the price. Also, maybe this will help build liquidity, because you are having payments processed through the Hedera blockchain. Although I'm not really sure if, since they're using stablecoins, not really sure if that would actually help Hbar liquidity across the board. So still a very, very nice partnership. And, you know, things are looking up for Hedera. I really, really wish they would more focus on their kind of TVL and DeFi part of things, because I definitely think they have the groundwork laid to do that. These partnerships are nice and they will get people excited, and which will result in some buying, but they themselves will not make that number go up probably within the next several years, and probably not within this bull run outside of the hype generated. And there's been several videos on YouTube about this already. So this is a very, very nice partnership, and it will definitely help bring up the utility, the industrial enterprise utility on Hedera, but I am not sure it will actually get price to go up. And we are definitely looking for price to go up in this bull run. So I still like it for Hedera. I think they're building something cool. I think they're building something great. But at the same time, I do want them to focus more on the DeFi part of things and building that ecosystem. The other piece of news I have for today is that Kraken might be dropping USDT in Europe due to MICA regulations. Now, they've really caught Tether in a catch-22, and this might be bad for liquidity in Europe, because it might not only be Kraken, it might be a lot of other exchanges as well, because MICA has some really bad rules that will affect Tether. Obviously, Tether, like a stable coin, is limited to 200 million euros a day in terms of flow for some reason in Europe on MICA. And they also have a 60% reserve requirement that your reserves have to be stored in several designated banks. However, this is a very big problem, not because Tether can't do it, is because those banks generally do not accept crypto business. So it's definitely a catch-22. Like, okay, if you're a stable coin, you have to have your reserves in our banks. But here's the thing, our banks do not allow your stable coin or any crypto business. So you can't. So you cannot, it is impossible for you to fulfill these requirements. Now, I'm not going to be sure if they classify USDC as the same type of coin, because they do have different classifications for different stablecoins, which doesn't make all that much sense to me because Tether and USDC seem to be the same thing. But this could be another ploy by the governments to mandate USDC or something that's more controlled by the US or European governments than use something like Tether. We'll see how Kraken actually deals with this. I think they have to make rules so that if you require certain reserves to be held across X number of banks, then those banks should be forced to accept business from these companies, because otherwise you basically got them trapped in kind of a dilemma where they absolutely cannot fulfill that requirement. And if you make a requirement, it should be a requirement of that requirement that the requirement can indeed be fulfilled. Because making requirements that cannot be fulfilled is completely unfair to competitive business practices. So Tether should think about suing for that, and their CEO has called out the MICA regulations for that and the European banks for that, but they might completely be all in cahoots to basically replace USDT with a stable version of a coin version of the euro. Maybe they're trying to make a CBDC euro and they want Tether and all the other stable coins out of the picture. Now, the CBDC euro is going to be made on basically several platforms because each individual country kind of has their own thing. So it will be kind of a mess, and it'll probably be quite a while before they can bring it up. But Kraken might actually be dropping Tether in Europe, and other companies might be dropping USDT in Europe if these regulations follow through, because Tether CEO has said, like, we don't plan to be regulated under MICA because it is impossible for them to be regulated under MICA. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.